What is going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman at The Time Teller, and you probably hear some of the hustle and bustle below me. Again, I'm still in Boston, and I'm still filming here for you guys. So a couple of weeks ago, I made an episode complaining about this newer Seiko release, reference number SPB315. And my biggest complaint in that episode was about that dastardly circular date window at the 430. Not only do I hate circular date windows, I hate 4:30 date windows. Again, put the date window at 6 o'clock, put it at 3 o'clock, put it at 12 o'clock even, not 4:30. Well, thanks to my amazing viewers, you got me one to my office, lickety-split, so I could see one in person. And man, I have the best viewers on earth. We had a Tudor Ranger come into the office. We had this crazy Invicta come into the office. We had this freaking brand new diver. The second I did an episode on it, someone was like, I'm sending you one. You guys freaking rock. Thank you so much. So let's talk about the Seiko SPB315. It is 11:13 p.m. Let's get down to business. So in many ways, as I look over this diver, I'm reminded why Seiko has been one of my favorite watchmakers for so long. It almost reminds me of the golden age of Seiko. And when I say golden age, I'm talking about like 2017, like right when I started this channel. Seiko was the entry-level heavy hitter. It was like the gold standard of value when it comes to watch collecting. I mean, they had handsome designs, and they achieved this without sacrificing functionality or price. They had incredible functionality and solid construction, and finally, I guess to bring it back to the first one, unbeatable value. But then I look at this specific watch's price tag, and that fond memory I have of 2017, that's all gone. Okay, again, this is like an $1,100 watch. The days of Seiko being the entry-level champion, they're not here anymore, guys. We gotta look elsewhere, and we're gonna talk about where we can look, okay? Because there are watchmakers that have picked up where Seiko left off, but Seiko's not there anymore. I mean, I guess we can talk about it right now. The elephant in the room is Orient, and Orient's owned by Seiko Epson Corporation. It's still under that umbrella. But like, when we're looking at watches that are true spec monsters for unbeatable value, unbeatable prices, it's gotta be Orient when we're looking at big box brands. And again, there are some micro brands that are offering some really incredible functional watches with some complications for not a lot of money. I'm wearing one right now. This is my Vero workhorse, and I trust this thing to travel with me. Cerakote case, threaded crown, great water resistance rating, sapphire crystal. We're gonna put the specs here as I'm rattling them off. It's super solid, don't have to baby it, I trust it, and the guys at Vero are incredible, and they're not paying me to say this. They didn't pay me, they didn't sponsor the episode. They did send me this watch, but there are micro brands, there are, I guess, some big box brands like Orient picking up where Seiko left off, but Seiko's gone, whatever. Let's talk about this watch. The SPB315. Now that I've seen it in the office, what do I think? Because again, you're gonna be spending $1,100 on this watch. So when we're talking about it, keep that price tag in mind. Another watch you should keep in mind is the Seiko King Turtle. That's, you know, half the price of this watch, and we just reviewed it about a month ago. Similar specs, half the price, like comparable finishing. I don't know if this SPB315 is worth the money they're asking. So before I move on any further, let's talk about the specs so you know what watch I'm talking about. I feel like I've spoken about the Vero workhorse, I've spoken about Orient, spoken about the King Turtle. Let's talk about the SPB315. All right, so thickness, 12.3 millimeters, diameter 41 millimeters, lug to lug 46.9 millimeters. This is a stainless steel watch with what Seiko calls a super hard coating. That's what she said. This has a curved sapphire crystal with AR coating, and that AR coating is on the inner surface, so it's not gonna get rubbed off. That's what she said. Man. Powered by a 6R movement, the 6R35 to be exact. Hold on. I don't know if you could hear that, so I'm just gonna say it again. It's powered by a 6R35 automatic movement, 21,600 VPH, so again, it's not high beat at all. It's not even particularly smooth. 6R, great movement though. 24 joules with a power reserve of approximately 70 hours. This is ISO rated, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. 200 meters, again, with a threaded crown. We're definitely going to talk about that threaded crown. But I can't talk about any of that until we get into the pros and cons, so let's jump into it. First pro. Very smooth bezel actuation. I definitely would give this my seal of approval for pizza roll timing. It won't back out on you. It's not difficult to actuate, but it's not sloppy toppy. It's not going to like, wibble wobble. It's all good. I cannot believe I just said sloppy toppy in a time teller episode. Next pro would be handset finishing. You can see some really nice brushed grains on that handset. Just very pleasant to look at with the macro lens. The brushed case looks very, very nice. Again, nice attention to detail. They did a good job with this watch for sure. I love that it has a sapphire crystal, again, adding to that functionality and wearability. And the final pro would be the gold tones. Just offers some great contrast with that black dial and the coolness of the stainless steel. Now to the cons, and these are some pretty bad ones when it comes to wearing this watch, okay? The crown is nearly impossible to thread and unthread properly. Guys, there were huge swaths of time where I tried to thread the crown in, and it would just bind up and get stuck, and I would have to wrench on it with my fingers to the point where I almost thought I might have to get the vice grips to get it undone. Luckily, I didn't, so the owner of this watch, you don't have to worry about it. I didn't like wrench on your watch with some tools, but it almost got to that point. So you're gonna have to wax the threading or something, because it is terrible. Perhaps the worst I've ever experienced. For an $1,100 watch, I don't think that that's okay. Next up, it's funny. When I complained about the date window, people told me, oh, well, in person, it'll just disappear. It just disappears on the dial. It does not disappear. All right, it does not disappear. It is a sore thumb, an afterthought. It's misplaced. It looks like they didn't know what they were doing and they just figured they needed a date complication, so they throw it there. It is dumb and stupid. It is stupid dumb. And the final con is that this is not a $1,000+ watch in any world, okay? All the pros that I listed, the King Turtle has all of that for half the price. All the cons that I listed, the King Turtle doesn't have any of those. Again, for half the price. So buy the King Turtle. Now, speaking of that ISO rating, apparently the ISO rating has changed to where you need a pip at the 3 o'clock. The SKX had a partial pip at the 3 o'clock, I'm pretty sure. Excuse me, the SKX did not. Correct that, correct the record, it did not. But the SPBN315 Tuna does. So guess what? It has a partial pip at 3 o'clock, and it has a date complication at 3 o'clock. None of that 4:30 bullshit. So guess what? If you want to spend $1,000+ on a competent diver that actually looks good, is functional, and doesn't look just terrible, get the Tuna. Because guess what? Then you'll have an actual Tuna, and it'll be badass and awesome and totally functional, and it won't have a disgusting date window, and it won't have a crown that is like bullshit. And that's where we are with Seiko in 2022. Prices are going up, execution is going down, and after all the watches that I look at day in and day out, I can tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, this watch should not be above $600, let alone above $1,000. It is atrocious what Seiko has become and what they are trying to charge for such piss poor execution. I am disappointed, to say the least. So is it a handsome design overall? Absolutely. This watch looks incredible aside from that stupid date window. And if we ignore the crown that doesn't thread at all. And to be clear, it is a threaded crown. It's just like the crown doesn't want to thread. So maybe they got used to making that 5KX that doesn't have any threading on the crown, and so when they had to make a crown that threads, they forgot how to do it. I don't know. But let me get back to what I'm trying to say. Is it a handsome watch? If we ignore those two things, yes. But is it worth the money they're asking? 1000% no. So listen, I love Seiko, okay? But sometimes you have to be critical of the things you hold near and dear. And, you know, Seiko's been one of my top 2 favorite watchmakers, like ever since I started watch collecting. And they did not get this one right. They're not going to get it right all the time, and they definitely got this one wrong. So if I could give some advice to Seiko, and I know they're not listening, I would say go back a bit and try to remember what made us all fall in love with you, and start producing that. Then you'll be king again. So there you have it, guys. I don't know how you feel about this watch. I'm very, very grateful I was able to get one in the office. Again, my viewers are amazing. This dude sent it to me knowing that I'd be kind of critical of it. And listen, I gotta give credit where credit's due, but I also have to be incredibly critical when that's necessary. And they got it wrong with this one. And when you factor in the price, it makes it makes the issues even worse, right? Because if this was a $450, $500 watch, some of the issues, you know, they'd still be bad with the crown not wanting to thread and that ugly date window, but you'd be like, okay, this is a $450 watch, but when you get anywhere near $1,000 to above $1,000, which is where this watch is at the moment, it's like unforgivable. So yeah, that's where we are with Seiko in 2022. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I will catch you on the next one, guys. All right, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time, I just tell it.